Guys, in this training, I'm going to be going through what it looks like to build your power week. A power week is when you're operating at your best, not by accident, but by design, okay? It's built around your habits, your systems, your values, and your non negotiables, the things that make you feel good about yourself. When people talk about being happy or unhappy, like, we can be pragmatic about this. We can plan this stuff out and try and execute it to a high level, and then review it and see where it needs to be altered or needs to be changed slightly in order to change the outcomes. And for me, this has been honestly like groundbreaking stuff for me, how much this has changed my life. So what is a power week? A power week is when you're operating at your best. You're ticking off the high value tasks, the things that have high value to you, the things that make you feel deeply inspired. You're present, you're capable, you're fully engaged with what actually matters, and you have an intentional form of living. If you're not living a life by design, you're going to be living a life by default. That was a quote I heard a number of months ago, and it stuck so clearly with me. Life is just going to pull you in whatever way it wants to, and your attention and your time and your energy and your focus is going to be pulled towards things that maybe don't have as much value towards you, and then that's going to lead to frustration. It's going to lead to you not feeling like you're living a life by your own design, which is it feels like a lack of control. It's not a nice place to be. So first of all, each individual person is going to be different, but define what this looks like for you. Define what your power week is. What does a successful week look like for you? What are the things that really need to be in your week in order for you to feel at your best? Is that eating a certain way? Is that training a certain way? Is that spending a certain amount of time with your family? Is that switching off and having some time to do things that you really enjoy that's kind of just for you as well? Is that reading? Is that educating yourself? Is that just sitting watching a movie or sitting watching some sport at the weekend? Like, whatever that stuff is, then that's the things we need to focus on. Right, if these are things that make me feel good about myself, these need a place in my diary. These need a place in my calendar. I need to have these things in my week. And then obviously we have the tasks that drive progress. Now, there's going to be some things we have to do from a non-negotiable standpoint, from work commitments or whatever else it may be. But then there's other things there. There's other high value tasks, the things that are truly important to you. And this could be anything at all, but it's something that is truly, truly important to you. Like, how do we make sure that these things are happening in the week as well? These answers become your anchors. These answers become the things that you're like, right, okay, I need to make space for this thing in my week. I need to make space for this, or review where my week is at currently, review where my time is at currently, where my time is being absorbed, and put some effort into making sure these non-negotiables happen, these things that fill you up, fill your cup, make sure these things happen. And do you know what ultimately ends up happening as a result? You kind of stop scrolling. You don't have time for scrolling because you're too busy filling your week full of things that actually make you feel good about yourself. You maybe don't have time for just sitting on your ass watching nothing on the TV. Like, you find ways to, especially if you're a parent, there isn't a whole lot of time in the day outside a kid. So if you're looking at trying to get those high value tasks in, you just kind of crowd out the not so beneficial stuff with the beneficial stuff. Now, I'm not saying you can't sit in your ass and watch TV every once in a while, but if you think you're low on time, unplug your TV for a week and then just come back to me, and we'll see where your amount of hours are in your day. Or come off of social media for a week, and then we can discuss and see how many hours you have available in a day. I think you would see it's a completely different picture. Now, maybe we can start with some rules or some things, some do's and some don'ts. So if this is for me, for example, my do's: in bed by 9 p.m. every night. So I have to be in my bed by 9. I want to be sitting, going through my diary for the day. So all the tasks that I was supposed to do for the day and reviewing them. Did I get everything done? If not, why not? What are some of the reviews that I can have? Like, what could I do better? Is there something that I need to do tomorrow? I'm basically just trying to get all this noise out of my head and onto paper. And having a review of the day that I planned. By the way, things don't always go to plan. They very rarely do, in fact. But it just gives me a point to go, okay, is there something that I can do a wee bit better? Because that's what we're looking for. Progression, not perfection. I want to train early. I want to train 4 or 5 times per week. That's what I feel like does me well. Leaving training till the latter part of the day just doesn't work for me. My head gets started with in work mode, and then I can't transition from work mode to training, and I end up with a poor session and then a subsequent poor effort in my work. So I have to get the training done early. It's always worked really well for me. Nutrition, planning out my meals, pre-planning things in MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, making sure that I've got things, I get out of jail free card at home, ready meals or whatever it is. So worst case scenario, I know whatever happens, I can eat on plan, because even if I've got no time, I can just pull out a heat and eat and wire into that. And then my meal prep on a Sunday. That sets me up for success for the whole week. It removes decision fatigue for the whole week. And I know that it's going to stand me in good stead. When I eat a certain way and I train a certain way, I sleep a certain way, I focus a certain way, and my mindset is in a certain way, I know I feel good about myself. I know that I feel like I've accomplished something for the week. Whereas we look at the don'ts, okay? Scrolling in bed, caffeine after 1 p.m, I know that that impacts my sleep. Leaving training till later in the day never works. Winging my nutrition never comes well. I can usually find a way to make it work, but it's a lot of going back to MyFitnessPal, going back, how many calories in that, all right, go back again, come back. And it's just more hassle than what it's worth. Checking my phone before I'm doing a work block or whilst I'm doing a work block, like leaving notifications turned on or leaving my phone near my bed, or near close by, either near my bed when I'm trying to get to sleep or close by when I'm trying to do some deep work. I know I'm going to get distracted. I know it's going to pull my attention, so it just has to be away. And then ending the day without closure, like that reflecting and planning every night has been huge for me. It allows me to get the noise out of my head. I don't feel overwhelmed in terms of what I've got on my plate, and I'm bookending the day. I've started well and I'm going to finish well, and I've got clear closure on the day. By the way, I don't get everything done that I said I was going to get done necessarily, but I know that I know the things that I have ticked off, and then I just reprioritise the next day or the subsequent days after it in the back end. So some other potential questions to ask yourself: when do I make some time to just sit and think, just to allow thoughts to occur, and maybe allow some of the noise in my head to just kind of dissipate? When do I feel most inspired? My peak energy, my most creative moments. How do I start and close my day? Like, is that, how, am I starting my day by just waking up and picking up my phone, and then am I ending the day by just kind of scrolling? Not great. We know that it's going to impact sleep on the back end. And then if you wake up first thing in the morning and you're checking notifications and all the rest of it, then boom, you're straight into stress reactive mode. Not a great idea. How do I treat others when I'm at my best? What's the type of man I want to be? More importantly, like, how do I want people to speak about me? Yeah, he's a good man. He's, treats people well, respectful, sets a good example for his children. These are all things that are very, very, very high and of extreme importance to me. So that's what I need to make sure. Am I conducting myself in that manner? By the way, I don't always conduct myself in that manner, so I have to catch myself on, but that reflection allows me to do so. And then anchoring everything that I'm trying to do to my core values. A family dinner with the kids every single night. It's just something that I need. It's just something that I need to have. My work has to have boundaries in order to allow me to have my dinner with my family, be present with my kids, and just not impact that at all. And I wasn't as good at that, but I've got a lot better at it now. My morning training sessions, I know that makes me feel excellent, so I know that I have to have that in there as well. Energy, my meal prep on a Sunday, making sure that I'm fueling my body in a particular way that makes me feel good about myself, and then that point for reflection as well makes me feel good. And then growth is something that's incredibly important for me. Remember, you can write down your own values as well. This is not, you don't have to copy mine, you would obviously make your own, but learning is very important to me. It's something that I'm borderline obsessed with. So reading, podcasts, educational content, just every opportunity to just learn something new, I'm looking to take that. And I get it done because it is of high value. So this is an example of my week. So some Sunday planning, I brain dump all the tasks that I have, everything that needs to be done, even whether it's now or right now, just everything that's in my head that needs done or needs attention in terms of what's happening in my life. And then I just prioritise them, high, medium and low. And then I look at my work hours, so it's between 7:30 and 5 p.m. Now, I know I'm prioritising family dinners, training, check-ins, community call, the client stuff, all my stuff that I have to do, my non-negotiables that I have to do from a work and a family perspective. Then I just slot in all the high-value tasks around that. Look, if I've got 30 hours available or 25 hours available, and I've got 35 hours worth of tasks, I'm not getting all those tasks done. So I'm just going to have to prioritise and get the high value tasks done first, and then whatever else that carries into the next week or whenever it is, or I just manage my expectations that, by the way, this isn't getting done right now. And it's just as simple as that. I don't have the hours available at the moment to get this done. And if it becomes a higher priority, then it just simply jumps something that is a higher priority currently. And then I also track the time. So how long am I expecting each task to take? And then I just slot that into a point in my calendar. I've got a 2-hour block here. Okay, I'm going to take a high priority 2-hour task and I'm going to chuck it in there. Did I get it done in that time? Yes or no? And then it's a review at the end of the day. That better awareness means better planning and ultimately better results. I feel like I'm getting shit done, which is highly important. That's when I feel satisfied. That's when I feel like I'm accomplishing something. If you follow some of the instructions and some of the pointers that I've given here, guys, you're going to be living a life by design, not a life by default, and ultimately you're going to feel so much more fulfilled than perhaps what you are currently.